Welcome to the Beauty Biz Show. I'm your host, Lori Crete, a career-loving esthetician and beauty entrepreneur on a mission to empower fellow estheticians. If you are a solo or small business owning esthetician and you enjoy this podcast and curious about how we can work together, visit beautybizclub.com for mentorship and essential business growth tools. If you're looking to boost your retail sales and elevate client care, check out my line of luxury spa wraps and headbands at spastar.net. Now, join me as I bring you inspirational messages from beauty industry experts and practical tips to help you achieve beauty biz success. Get ready for some serious beauty biz entertainment. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Beauty Biz Show. Today is kind of a traditional type episode, which I've always called the last facial of 2025, the last facial of the year. And it's a ritual of how I reflect at the end of each year. So end of the year esthetician ritual. After my last facial, I sit on my esthetician stool. I face an empty treatment room and I look around for like 10 or 15 minutes, reflecting on what the year has brought me, what it taught me, and I make some notes so I can share it with you guys and so I can look at maybe what I want my next year, 2026, to look like. And I also suggest that you do the same because it's been this really powerful, spiritual, and strategic business growth tool for me. I look at what works so I can do more of it. I look at what does not work so I can let go of it. And it's just a nice way to enter the new year. So today we're here to share our takeaways from touching faces in 2025. Now, this episode is a little bit special, a little reflective, and honestly, it becomes a little emotional in a way. It's not just about skincare. It's about people. It's about energy. It's about trust and what our treatment rooms continue to teach us year after year. And this year feels a little different for me. I'm sharing these reflections as a 25-year career-loving esthetician who still believes deeply that this work just heals us, that it's amazing, that it matters, that healing happens inside of our treatment rooms. The transformation just isn't topical. And I didn't want to have this conversation alone. So joining me today is my co-host, Lauren Natuno, a 5-year esthetician, Beauty Biz Club's coach, strategist, and the incredible leader of our emerging estheticians inside the Beauty Biz Club. I feel like Lauren, the reason I wanted to invite her to do this and share it publicly is she represents the next generation of this industry. Fresh eyes, a big heart, working on boundaries. You can tell me whether you feel they're strong or not, but you have a clear vision of where you want your business to be. So together we're bringing in two perspectives. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you. I'm super happy to be here. This episode feels different. You're right. Like, it just feels really refreshing to sit down, have this conversation, and start new, start fresh for the new year.
Yeah, just sharing what 2025 taught us face
Yeah.
by face, client by client. You did say, and we'll talk about this as we dive into the episode today, but you said that you got emotional doing this.
Yeah, I was emotional the whole day leading up to it. And for the listeners, when Lori asked me to do this reflection period after my last facial of the year, it was a few weeks before. And so I kind of had time to think about it. And then when the day came, I was a little overwhelmed with just 2025 in general. It went by so fast. And I don't know if other people feel that way, but for me, it flew by. And so to sit down and think about it and slow it down in my head, a lot came up for me when it came to my business and my career choice and just everything I did. I got quite emotional.
Well, our hopes today are that you can relate, our listeners listening in, and know that you're not alone. And we want you to feel inspired. We want you to feel inspired to make new adjustments in your treatment room, because I think that's what happens when we do this work. And for this year, I'll share more about it as we talk today. But my last facial of the year looked very, very different than what I expected. And it kind of felt right in line with how 2025 rolled out for me. So sharing this, I think a lot of people are going to relate to it. But before we dive in, I have to be honest. 2025 didn't ease in gently for me. This year entered like a fierce lion. You went through a lot of this with me, Lori. I mean, Lauren, I don't share publicly the real emotional piece of what I do in the industry outside of the treatment room, except for with a very small circle. But it entered like a fierce lion, and it left me a little bit stunned. And I'll share some honest stuff here, stuff that I normally don't bring to social media or the podcast. My 18-year-old fur baby, Rudy, passed away. My only child, unexpectedly, actually a year ago tomorrow. And I just thought about that this morning with the date. I still get choked up about it. And then just 2 days later after that, one of the hardest things, the hardest goodbye I've ever had to make, I had a rather turbulent season with some of my team. And I want to say this very clearly. I'm not sharing this for sympathy. I'm sharing it because it's real, and it shaped so much of what 2025 was for me. But I also want you to know, I didn't share it online what was happening, not because I was hiding, but because social media just isn't a space that I like to process things that feel traumatizing or drama filled or heavy. I'm really a private processor. I think you are too, Lauren.
Yeah, I have a hard time taking more personal, deeper things to social media because, right, you forget sometimes with social media how many people are looking at you. And sometimes somebody said a few weeks ago that when we were kids, our parents had like home videos and would scrapbook and have physical photos in the house. And now a lot of people use social media as almost like their online journal. And sometimes you forget that you're not the only one seeing it. And so, it's tough sometimes to take personal things to social media because of and especially for somebody like Lori, there's a lot of eyes on you all the time.
And you know what? I want to be a positive, inspirational type
Yeah.
person online. So I do. I privately process, and I need breathing room. I need trusted people around me, not in my comment section giving me advice because that's brutal. And if you're like that too, just let this be, your permission slip. You don't have to share. You don't owe the internet any of your hard moments. You just don't. So I feel like 2025, if I had to think of it in a one sentence, and I've asked you to do the same, I honestly feel like it was the year that wore me out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
looking back, how did that start for you, and how did it roll out for you? What was the energy of the year for you in those early months that shape how we
Yeah.
move through a year?
You know, I was thinking about it really deeply, and the beginning of the year for me was it was like such a tornado of things. And I think what I mean by that is we were diving into emerging esthetician, really hitting the ground running. I was
Creating.
we were creating. I was learning how to delegate or spread my time. I also, as you know, had other people from different places all coming at me wanting to collaborate, wanting me to do stuff with them, and I think I remember you saying like this is a good thing, but it can be a lot. And I do remember feeling very overwhelmed by that feeling of just having a lot of people wanting or asking me to do things. And I think I kind of went into my shell a little bit in the beginning of the year. And I think you probably saw it too. There was a lot going on. And then I think like right at the end of Q1, I kind of was like put a force field around me. And I only kept in the things I knew I could do well and kind of blocked out the rest.
It is an
And
interesting thing to learn how to navigate feeling like everyone wants a piece of you, right? Because it's
yeah,
our clients, it's other estheticians, it's our loved ones that need to be a top priority. It's a lot, but I'm laughing at something you said. You said something like you said, I learned how to spread my time. And I think that's just a word maybe you want to replace with manage, because
manage.
You spread yourself too thin doing that?
Yes.
Better manage time.
Yes. Yes. And a big thing that I was really, and I this year I really went into waves when it comes to this, but something that was kind of like, and you are, as you are for many women, you're kind of my North Star, but you kept reminding me to keep my systems in place, and that it will always be easier if I continue to keep my systems in place. And it's something that I feel like throughout 2025, just with a lot of new exciting things happening in my personal life, in my career, I would lose it, and then you'd have, you kept reminding me to get back to it. And it's something that I feel like going into 2026, I feel confident in doing, but it was the first quarter of 2025. I feel like I really felt like I had just like a million things going on at once, and it was really like, how do I manage this?
One of the esthetician renters I had at my LA spa, she was older than me and she was there when I bought it. She came with a purchase. She was a renter and she was a wise advice giver. And she said to me once, Lori, owning a business is like being in the ocean. There are some days you get to lay on the raft and soak up the calmness, the sun, the view. She goes, and then there are other days where the waves are going to take over and you're going to have to hold on for dear life. And that is it in a nutshell, owning a business for me. But I think you went through it so quickly. Like sometimes it was calm, sometimes it was crazy, sometimes, and it kept just bouncing back and forth. So you did learn how to navigate that. And now I feel like you're going to see more calm and understand better how to ride the waves.
Yeah, and also how I want to experience the waves, like in a calmer way. And I laughed. Sunny, actually, my partner, for those listening, said last night, he goes, 2025 was crazy. You went to Vegas twice with Lori, and then you also went to the live all in 3 months. And then, just was reminding me of what that first half of the year was. And for me, it was so vigorous and fast and just go, 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 which is not something I'm used to. But I got to watch and really learn how somebody like Lori here manages doing that and still continuing to get things done on time, make sure her systems are in place. And it was a big, big learning opportunity for me to start out the year that way, first half of the year. And I took a lot from it.
So interesting that you say that because I'm going to share with you my first takeaway from 2025
It,
with it was the polar opposite of what you were feeling. So my first takeaway as I did my end of year reflection literally was 2025 was my year just to work my to-do list. I don't feel like I did anything else. The year felt so robotic to me.
that's insane.
I just did my to-do list. This year taught me something I didn't expect. And that's when I have a to-do list that isn't fueled by creativity or impact. It might get done, but it doesn't feel alive or meaningful. I don't feel like I did that much meaningful work in 2025 for the industry. I pulled back from teaching. Actually, it was weird. So I have show notes in front of me so I stay on track because this is a little bit of emotional. And when you're going back and reflecting, sometimes you need the little reminders. So I have here as a note for this season, I actually stopped teaching esthetician. I didn't do what I normally do. I did it inside the Beauty Biz Club because that's on my to-do list. And I spoke one time on a big stage, just once. And that's very unusual. That was for Sorella because they're dear friends of mine and they asked me to speak for them and I wanted to do it. But the decision came from reflection, not resentment, to stop teaching estheticians. And there are a few reasons. First, I personally started feeling like it didn't matter. What I had to say did not matter anymore because the noise was so loud. The algorithms were loud. Even you said to me, how come everybody thinks they're going to learn everything about our business on social media?
Yeah.
And just meaningful work from somebody doing the work in the treatment room, it started to feel buried. It really did. So
Yeah.
that was the first thing. Then the stuff that happened with my team, I'm like, I just don't want to put myself out there right now. I don't. And then the last thing was I was watching so many estheticians struggle. At the beginning of last year, I saw so many estheticians as I was scrolling going, it's sad to announce I'm closing my business, or with a heavy heart, I have to share this. They were sharing their struggles online, like their burnout, their overwhelm, they're closing their business, their frustration. And it felt like there was resistance from our industry to invest in support. And I think part of it is because that support requires commitment, structure, follow through. And nobody was feeling that at the beginning of 2025. Um, and then, really, like I mentioned before, I was just suffering a little bit personally. And when I need peace and healing, I return to my treatment room. And that was part of this reflection. My treatment room, because my systems are so structured and in place and really profitable systems, they're easy and they're abundant and they bring me joy. I reclused into my treatment room because that space has always been my reset. And I believe deeply that creating beauty heals. So I started the year simply loving 2025, being in my treatment room and laughing with my clients. And I ended the year very inspired because of that. Um, I have a new treatment room assistant, but I'm not going to share what that is today. That's coming in an episode. I made a big decision at the end of the year, and I did some new menu enhancements, new ways to elevate my client experience. And now I'm feeling totally inspired. And one of my missions is to start teaching again. I'm doing that
Hmm.
this afternoon on the January 5th. So I want estheticians to feel like I do, excited to go to the treatment room. And that was one of my big takeaways. Sometimes it's okay to pause and really hyper focus on one piece of your business life. And for me, that was my treatment room and my clients. And it made me feel proud. I realized innovation after peace is very powerful. So what I
Yeah.
got to do at the end of the year felt so powerful. And I also realized that creativity flows when you feel grounded. And now this helps me help estheticians step into a better 2026. So let this be a takeaway you take care for our listeners. It's just something for them to think about is when things feel noisy, return to what grounds you.
Hmm.
Let your treatment room lead when your mind feels full. Heal first, build second, create from alignment, not urgency. And that's kind of my first takeaway.
That's funny because so my first takeaway when I was sitting there during my reflection period, it's funny, I wrote down be all in. And it was something that I was thinking about all day. And I think the reason why I started thinking about it was that I was remembering that in a lot of episodes of Shark Tank, this is, I promise I'm going to bring it back. In a lot of episodes of Shark Tank, when a founder of a small business comes in, a few of the sharks won't want to, give them a deal because they say, well, you have another job, you have something else going on, you're not all in. And if you want it bad enough, if you want it to succeed, you have to be all in. You can't have other things going on. And I was thinking about it in my treatment room when I was writing Be All In. I had to remind myself that if you really, really want something and you say you want it, you can say it a million thousand times, but if you really want it, you have to be all in all the time. And I'm not saying, like give up everything else in your life, but when it comes to me and what I was reflecting on, it means for me that if I say I want to accomplish something, I have to, Lauren, be, 10 toes in, get it done, and be, make it my main focus and not allow myself to get distracted by the things or the people that might not be supporting what I want to accomplish. So that was one of my first takeaways that I wrote down was be all in. Like this is the year that I know what I want and I know how to get it. So I got to just be all in.
What do you think you can do differently to commit to being all in? Because I see watching from the outside, and I'll share with you what I think you could do. But I want to hear like what your solution to being all in is, so you don't feel
Yeah.
like you're riding the waves and all over the place.
Yep. So, as we discussed a little bit earlier, I have really focused on scheduling time in my daily schedule to get certain things done. Before, I would maybe try to do it in between clients, or I'd say, oh, I'm going to do it when I get home, or oh, I'm going to do it while I drink coffee in the morning, but instead I have two dogs yapping at me and I end up going for a walk. So what I've done for the next 12 months on my schedule, just like my clients would book, is I have exactly what I need to do every week, exactly the content I need to make, the emails I want to write, the recordings of trainings that I'm hoping to get done, all scheduled in on my schedule. And last year I would say, well, I don't want to do that because it's taking away from a time a client could book. But what I've realized going into 2026 is this is something that means a lot to me. This is something that I want to bring me abundance. So I have to look at it just like I would doing a facial or a treatment on a paying client. So for the whole year on my schedule, I've already gone in and thought about what I want to teach, thought about what I want to make on, social media, who I want to reach out to, and I've gone through the whole year and just blocked off days, times, an hour here, 40 minutes there, and wrote myself really good notes so I can stay on track. And I think that that is going to be a game changer for me going into this year. I also feel a lot more at peace going into 2026 with, personal life shifting things. I feel really permanent in my home now that I've purchased, that I own a home, and just everything else seems really mellow now. So I'm hoping to continue to be able to focus on what fuels me and not be distracted by feeling the need to be pulled in different directions by other people.
I think that that's really good. I always try to teach my coaching clients and people I get to talk to personally, block some time for yourself and treat it like you would treat it if your favorite client was coming in. Like, get ready for it, get excited about it, and commit to it. You're not going to no-show your favorite client. You're going to show up there with energy. You should be doing that for yourself to grow your business. But I think with you, you have this big Italian family. There's always a lot going on, and they always want something from you. And I don't think you have to sacrifice your family to have a successful business. I think you need to compartmentalize it and not always be there at everybody's beck and call.
Yeah,
So
and
the factors.
make those boundaries, set those boundaries, and stick to them even when I don't necessarily feel like I need to or want to.
Yeah, you have three sisters,
Hmm.
and I feel like they turn to you for stuff. A lot of them.
I'm the
Like,
I'm the nurturer in
yes.
the family. I'm the Cancer. I'm the nurturer. I'm the one that tries to come up with the solutions in the family. So,
And being my former flight attendant self, I remember you put your oxygen mask on first. So those are your meetings, and then you can be there for them,
yep.
with probably a less stressful vibe, maybe more financial resources if anyone needed that support.
Hmm.
Like, so good. I love that. That I've set appointments up with yourself. So
Yes.
very nice. I'll dive into takeaway number 2 for me. And this is interesting because I just told you and everyone listening that I really just headed full in to my treatment room in 2025. Full in. And I had new innovations, new menu, new product line that I just brought on at the end of 2024, new equipment. But I'm not going to lie, this was the very first year ever of my 25-year career that I had a super slow summer. Really, really slow summer. First time in 25 years that I experienced a truly slow season in my treatment room. And at first, I'm not going to lie, this freaked me out. I, first of all, have a busy brain. I am a lot of energy and I like to work. I love to work. So from May through October, I lose half my clientele. I'm in a seasonal area. They go. And then on top of that, 6 of my year-round clients, the people that come in all the time, 6 of them moved away, far away. So it was really slow, really awkward, but something really interesting happened. 25 years, I've never been slow, ever. Very, very bizarre. So what happened, the interesting thing that happened is I had a mindset and strategy mapping session with myself. Okay, I do book weird appointments with myself, but I
Mhm.
find that's what keeps me in line for my
Yeah.
success. And I decided, okay, you can do three things. You can freak out and do nothing. You can go out and market, which I actually really like to do. I love growing my business through marketing and networking. I do. I'm proud of what I do. I like to share it in the community. When I meet people, I like to talk about it. Or the third thing was I could just embrace it and learn from it. Because if I go out and I market, then I get so busy, I don't get to see my seasonal clients. It's such a weird place to grow a business. And I look forward to my seasonal clients coming back. So I didn't freak out. I didn't heavily network. I just continued to market to my existing clients through email and shipping products. And some people were even flying in and booking with me that because of my marketing that had moved. But I embraced it, and something amazing happened. First of all, because I wasn't rushing, I got to spoil my clients. And I did this with communication. Listen, I can't do this during season, but are you okay if I go a little bit over today? I just want to do some value adds and pamper you because I have the time and I never do. So
Love
I
that.
extended my treatments with their permission, right? And this was kind of like research and development for me. Hey, I get to try something new. They're feeling pampered, they're feeling special. So it was new techniques, maybe a new mask. I got a new LED light, which you're going to be hearing from that founder on an upcoming episode of the Beauty Biz Show. But I did it all with communication. So they weren't expecting it every single appointment because I can't do it. I chatted with them. I looked through their phone at their photos at the end, stuff I never have time to do. And really, for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel robotic in my treatment
Mhm.
room. And the slowness gave me this decision point. Do I market harder or do I, just ride it out? So I chose to enjoy my life. We vacationed more, but we just slowed down a little. I would say Jay and I slowed down a little. We're always on the go. And we also decided that next summer, we're going to go away for a whole month. We're renting a house and we're going to get out of here when it's really, really hot. And here's the part that I really want everyone to hear that's listening into this show, because the Beauty Biz Club systems that I teach are the same exact systems that I use in my very own esthetician practice. My world didn't fall apart when I chose to slow down. And
Mhm.
I was afraid of that, like losing your place in line, your world slowing down. I didn't lose my momentum. I didn't lose my place in line. And guess what? I actually made more money. I tripled my retail sales and my dollar per hour in my treatment room. So slow didn't mean unsuccessful. Space didn't mean that I was unsafe with my bank account or financial security. And I'm going to share kind of how I did this in my next takeaway and how you can do the same as an esthetician. So, Lauren, I'll let you go into your second takeaway, and then I'll be back with some juicy stuff on how to do what I did this summer: slow down and become more successful. Just a quick message, and then we're jumping right back into the episode. Many of you know this already, but I've been looking for a new assistant manager, one that supports my esthetician life and my treatment room life. And today, I get to share something that genuinely lights me up. I found my new treatment room assistant manager, and it's going to surprise you when you find out who I chose to support me while I'm working on clients. It's a new to me all-in-one platform for scheduling, payments, marketing, and much more. And it really feels like it was made for small business estheticians. It's called Gloss Genius, and I'm officially obsessed. First, it's designed to help build an aesthetics brand. You know, I believe in support that feels elevated and luxurious because this helps us stand out, and Gloss Genius nails this. Second, it's actually really easy to use for you and for your clients. No clunky menus, no confusion, no where do I click next, none of these moments. Clients don't have complicated logins just to book an appointment. It's just smooth, smart design that works with ease. Third, every feature purposefully helps your business grow, whether it's rebooking to bring a client back in or low payment processing rates that help you actually keep more of your money that you earn. This platform never stops looking out for you. And you know how rare that is in our industry?
It's so refreshing to see a company who actually understands the margins that beauty businesses have to work with. But here's what really sealed the deal for me. Gloss Genius was founded by two powerhouse sisters who are deeply passionate about helping entrepreneurs thrive. They're committed to innovation, education, and helping our businesses grow while cutting out the stress that comes along with it. Their whole mission is to help beauty biz owners grow with technology that empowers us instead of overwhelms us. And honestly, you can feel their heart in every feature. And trust me, I get it. Switching platforms can feel intimidating, but Gloss Genius makes the process simple and possible. So if you've been looking for a business software that is gorgeous, client-friendly, and built by people who respect and advocate for beauty and wellness entrepreneurs, this is it. I'm thrilled to welcome Gloss Genius as part of the Beauty Biz Show, and even more excited for you to experience what I've found: a fresh start, a powerful platform to help you grow, and a company that truly gets us. If your business is ready for next level, Gloss Genius is waiting for you. Because when your systems support you, you get to focus on the beauty that you're here to create. So click the link in the show notes or the link in my Instagram bio at Lori_BeautyBiz to learn more and use my code BeautyBizShow to experience your first 2 months of Premier Tier for half off.
Yeah, gosh, I love that. Because, a little side note before I dive into my takeaway number two, but it is something that a lot of estheticians, service providers, um, they associate being slow with being like unsuccessful or right. They're so scared, worried when things are slow, that it means that they might be doing something wrong. But sometimes it just happens to the best of us. And that's why, utilizing Lori's systems is so important so that you can enjoy the slowness when it comes, because there'll always be a wave where you're so busy you can't catch your breath and you're going to wish you enjoyed it.
I guess if I had to summarize that takeaway is slow sucks when it's on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's like a quick season or just like seasonal type, you should learn how to embrace it and do the things that will help the future you.
Yeah. My takeaway number two was, and a lot of this is because earlier in the year, when I did go to Lori's live event in May, we were discussing a lot about building wealth as women and as estheticians. And she gave us a book, and this book I've been going back to a lot over the year. And so my takeaway number two is 2026, make money to have, don't make money to spend. And to me, I think in the beginning 2 years of my business, every dollar I would make, I would almost spend faster than I made it. Whether that was on new things for my treatment room, marketing, photo shoots, just boom, 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 all sorts of stuff that I really took in my reflection mode, realized that a lot of it I don't really have to show for because I was spending so fast. And so going into 2026, I want to be more intentional with the money I make and where do I want it to go and how do I want this to work for me, and thinking about my future and really, in investments. And this year is the year I want to utilize my craft, my what I'm good at, and my clients and my treatment room, and utilize everything that I earn in a more intentional way, and not see it all flowing out of the drain the second I turn the faucet on, sort of deal.
I'm laughing. If you haven't picked a word yet, I think manage should be your word of the year.
So I already wrote it down.
Managing. But I will also tell you something funny, a conversation I had with your father when I was in Bozeman for your live event, which you guys listening in, our next live event, which you're talking about, was very impactful for you. It's happening in Bozeman, Montana in May, and we've opened up a few spots for essential members of the Beauty Biz Club to join us. So you're
And
going to
it's
have
going
to
to be
send
a
me
good
DMs.
one.
It's going to be a good one for sure. I was talking to Debbie about it this morning, and I will say, everyone that I have dealt with, as far as like hotels and the family dinner that we're having and all of the fun stuff, it's so easy when you're doing it in a small town.
Yeah.
So easy. These people call you back, they email you. It's been amazing. But back to what happened when I was in Bozeman, your dad and I had a few of your facial fizz cocktails. And he's like, I've watched Lauren change a lot. Before, she used to ask me to borrow money because she didn't have any. Now she's asking me to borrow money when she mismanages hers because I know she's making a lot of it. So he's going to be so happy to hear your takeaway number 2.
Oh, yeah, he will.
So another thing that you went on TikTok the other day and said something that I mentioned in a podcast. Now I don't even remember exactly what it was, but it was like, use money to bring you joy. Or do you remember what that was?
I think it was, what was it?
Bring you peace. Make
Bring
your
you
bank
peace.
profits bring you peace. And you said,
Yes.
oh my gosh, money's never brought me peace. So
Yes.
you're going to go through this big shift when you start to do the things that you are now putting in line for 2026. This is exciting.
Yeah. And I love, this is so fun, by the way, because you and I have completely different takeaways. It just shows like, different points in your career. It's, priorities, takeaways, things. It's just so different.
Yeah. What was your takeaway that you feel so different? Like, when you reference that? I know the first one.
Between the two of ours.
Yeah. When you just said it, you're right. They're so different.
Yeah. Like just that mine are all like things, I don't know, like you had a really peaceful, slow year. And my year seemed chaotic and like so fast I couldn't even breathe. So it's just funny. And then like when it comes to like managing money and like you're the one teaching us how to do it. And it's just so fun that these are my takeaways. And I feel really confident about it because I know that, I have the Beauty Biz Club and I have Laura. I know I have all the tools and the resources and the guidance to do it. But it's just fun. Like I always think like, I know that there was a time in your career that you were also thinking about these things, but now you're thinking about other things. So it's just so fun to have these conversations.
I think the reason I get to be a 25-year esthetician and feel like my profits are peaceful, and if I have a slow summer, it's okay, and I can just focus on a to-do list, and I can spoil my clients without worrying, am I spending too much per hour on this and that and this, is just because of the decisions I've made for the past 25 years.
Yeah.
Just making good decisions. I see a lot of people that are at my, the same point in their career, and they don't get to feel the peace that I feel. And maybe that's my North Star in teaching estheticians, coming back into teaching estheticians. And again, I want to be clear, I've always had the Beauty Biz Club, but I do a lot of stuff for free online, or for like today, my training is $20. And that's just because we kept running out of space on the Zoom rooms.
Yeah.
So we have to know who's coming, so we don't have people who feel bummed out that they can't get on the call. Yeah. And maybe I need to teach a class in peaceful profits, how to make them and make them bring joy to your life. So this is a good takeaway.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to talk about money and what I did during my slow summer. It was the year I tripled my treatment room earnings. So what I mean by this is I was a little bit slower, but it wasn't by working more hours, because I didn't even have that opportunity. Like I chose not to have that opportunity. I wanted to just have an easy summer. And I did this not through working more hours, but I did it through my retail sales tripled, and dollar per hour, my dollar per hour. So when somebody walked in my treatment room, that hour tripled in income. So I call this smart innovation. That's how I did it, through smart innovation. And at the end of 2024, I set myself up for success in 2025. I brought in a new skincare line. I invested in a new piece of equipment, just one piece of equipment. and I modified my menu for the first time in years. I hadn't done any of these things in years. So it wasn't a quick decision. It was something that I did with smart innovation and intention. I introduced my first ever $325 facial. It was niched out. It was very specialized, signature service. And here's why I think it worked. Two strategies that made all the difference. Number one, pre-treatment, and you're going through this now, pre-treatment retail for the first time ever in my esthetician world became a non-negotiable. If you wanted this $325 facial, you had to be on the home care for it, 1 to 3 products at least a few weeks prior. So hopefully that makes sense. Like all of a sudden I stepped into this place of leadership as an esthetician in my treatment room. Yes, you can have my most exclusive signature facial, but you need these products first. So you're going to have to call or text me. And I would send emails out, and the replies and the responses and the text messages and the retail sales just went cuckoo because I chose to lead in that area for the first time ever in my career. It didn't feel salesy. It felt actually like, oh my gosh, I'm positioning myself to really be their go-to expert. Like I said, it wasn't pushy. It was done professional. I communicated it very clearly through email. Again, at checkout, like if they were getting a basic facial, here's what I have coming up. If you want it, you have to get these products so you can invest in it. And clients understood that it was all about results and the safety of their skin and not sales. So that was a huge increase in retail for me. And then the second thing that I did, I love marketing. You guys know that inside the Beauty Biz Club, I give you every marketing letter, social media promotion that I ever do. And I love it. But I marketed the outcomes, not the offers for the first time ever. Like really heavy on outcomes, not what I was offering. And I started seeing, so I started sharing what I was seeing on my clients and my own skin from the product line and the equipment, the skin changes, the texture shifts, the glow improvements, all from using the new line. And here's what I want to give to estheticians listening from this takeaway. It's a reminder I think so many people need to hear right now. Your clients are very interested in what you are doing on your own skin. They are. Your clients want to learn from you, but not when somebody asks you what time it is, don't tell them how to make the watch. They want to learn from you in a simplistic way, like what's in it for them. And also what I've learned is education builds trust, and trust increases the spend. So those are my takeaways. When you market results, retail becomes very natural, a piece of it, right? When retail becomes natural, your dollar per hour grows. And when your dollar per hour grows, your income follows without burnout. So we're going deeper into this year inside the Beauty Biz Club, actually. In March, you and I are going to talk about bringing on a new skincare line. I think you mentioned this before. You made $15,000 bringing on a new skincare line, like a little bit pre you bringing it in and then post and then a micro event, and we'll share that system.
Yeah. My third takeaway had also to do with learning something new this year, feeling comfortable enough in my business to learn something new, learn a new skill. And it started just by, deciding to introduce microcurrent into my, studio with, with the small device. And it was just taking a small risk and not knowing, how my clients would react, but deciding I'm ready to do this. And so my takeaway from doing so was really that if something is really, catching my attention, don't hesitate to go for it, because I was methodical when it came to anything new that I brought into my practice this year, but everything I did worked really nicely. And I think it's because I really believed in it and really loved it, like you're saying, on my own skin. And I think that your clients can really see if what you're selling and what you're using is something you really love. Because I do have products sitting on my shelf that I never sell. And why do I never sell them? Probably because I don't personally love them. Whereas there's some products that I cannot even keep on the shelf because I'm obsessed with them. And so it just kind of flows through you like that.
I think I noticed at your event too, and this goes back to my takeaway. Your clients really want to learn from you. Like they are hungry for
Yeah.
information on the products and the services that you do. So I've watched you though, and this is part of what we'll teach. You just know when to innovate because, like you said earlier, you were doing all these photo shoots and
Hmm.
those helped you build your clientele.
Oh yeah.
Now you have 7,000 photos that you can use. Your clientele is
Correct.
pretty built. Now
Yeah.
you needed to innovate to keep those people interested and increasing your dollar per hour spend.
Yeah.
So innovation on all levels, 25 years and 5 years. We both
Yeah.
kind of did that in 2025. Um, all right. So you ready to hear about my last facial of the year?
Yes. Mine's gonna knock your socks off. I'm ready to hear about
Okay,
yours.
good. So mine knocked my socks off too. All right.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot.
I
Okay.
didn't
I
tell you
can't
about
wait.
it because I wanted to save it for the show. So I wasn't going to open Christmas Eve, but then I thought, why not? I have a space open, so I opened it up. My last client came in at 12:30, and I adore her. She is elderly woman, walks with a cane, 80 years old. She's only here like twice a year. She's not somebody who's in town all the time. So 12:30, she came in. I have to be at my family Christmas at 2 o'clock. Like, that's perfect. Actually, sorry, she came in at 11:30. Have to be
Hmm.
at my family Christmas at 2. Perfect. No problem. Plenty of time to do everything I need to do, get home, get the gifts, and head to my best friend's house, meeting my sister and our families there. So the only thing I can tell you as I start this story is it was the year that actually it came in the same way that it went out, actually the same way it came in. It went out the same, like a lion.
I'm
Okay.
scared.
This year came in like a lion, and honestly, it went out the same way. So my last client situation was a big learning lesson. It did not go as planned. So I'll tell you what happened. We're like halfway. Her husband drops her off, and like probably maybe 20 minutes of the facial left, I was standing beside the bed, and I could see that she was in severe pain, like she couldn't talk.
Hmm.
And I go, "Are you okay?" And she's like, well, she couldn't even finish her sentence. So, and she's kind of grabbing her left shoulder, and I go, "Oh my gosh, is my client having a heart attack on my bed?" I go, "Just tell me, are you okay? What are you feeling?" She's like, "Well," I said, "Do you think you're having a heart attack?" Like I just came right out and asked her
Yeah.
honestly, or stroke or something, because she wasn't speaking.
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, holy shit. Well, I'm trained in this because I was a flight attendant. I could give
Yeah.
birth on my treatment room floor if I had to,
Yeah.
because
Right. Yep.
I'm trained in it from my flight attendant days. Like, you know what to do 41,000 feet in the air. And she goes, "Well, it's my shoulder. It's my shoulder. I think it's popped out of the socket. I think my shoulder's out." So
Oh.
better than a heart attack.
Yeah.
But I just put my hand on her shoulder, and I started gently, like using very light pressure to see if her shoulder felt out, if I had to call an ambulance or
Yeah.
not. And I think she was having a muscle spasm. I could feel it. So I just kind of squeezed that pressure point a little bit, and I just talked her down. I go, "As long as you don't think like it's a stroke or a heart attack, this is okay. Like, we'll figure it out. I'm just going to put some soft pressure here. Let me know." And a few seconds later, she started feeling better. So now the facial went over a little bit because we had the health issue that ended like that. But so we ended at 12:45. Now remember, I have Christmas at
Yep.
2, and she's on a cane. She's 80, and now she thinks her shoulders popped out, but it seems to be doing better. So she gets up off the bed, and her husband's not there. And he's not answering his phone. Well, apparently he decided on Christmas Eve to drive 30 minutes to Costco to pick up one pie while she was
Oh
getting her facial.
my
And
God.
she's 80, it's raining out, and nobody else is at the salon. I can't just leave her there. So her husband showed up to pick her up at 1:45. I have to be like an
No.
hour late. An hour late. Yeah. So, and I mean, I didn't want to seem annoyed. I did stuff in my treatment room, and I could tell she felt really bad. So I had to drive home. I had to change. I had to get the gifts. I had to call an Uber. I had 15 minutes to do everything. And this is where I think sometimes it's weird. I just kept telling myself, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. You don't have to go to Christmas in your scrubs. You don't. I got to my Christmas 2 minutes early. I have no idea how, but I got to my Christmas 2 minutes early. And I said to my best friend, she goes, I made a signature cranberry margarita. Do you want one? And I think my sister and I drank the whole tub of them. Like my sister rolled in. She had a hard day too. But this is what I felt. I didn't get to do my end of the year ritual is the whole reason I'm telling you this story. Never got to do it this year.
Later.
Yeah. So just in that moment, I felt it. At the end of the year, I felt it. The weight of owning a business, the unpredictability of owning a business, the way personal life and professional responsibility, they sometimes collide, that we have no way of controlling the way they collide. And here's the reminder I want every esthetician to hear. Sometimes things just don't go as planned when you own a business. Even when you're doing everything right, they just don't go as planned. So what this year taught me more than anything is the importance of reflection, because I was craving it at that point and I didn't get it. So not just focusing on revenue, not just on goals, but on your effort you put into the business this year, the emotional relationship you have with your business, because think of everything we've shared today, highs, lows, good, crazy emotional connection you have with your business. And how is your business actually supporting your life? And here's a surprising part. This year forced me to tap into something that I never utilize ever, ever, ever. You probably know this about me because you hang out with me a lot. I don't have any patience.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to have patience during a slow summer. I had to have patience when I almost missed my Christmas because my client's husband decided to go to Costco 40 minutes away or 30 minutes away on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So my takeaway for this year is I really have a heavy love, let's just say, for reflection, but also patience with myself, with timing, with seasons that come and go. And that lesson alone, that's what I'm going to carry into 2026. So sometimes growth isn't always polished. Sometimes it can look like grace, but you're actually in the middle of chaos. These are all my things.
Yeah. My last facial of the year, and I think that maybe because it went so, I think maybe this is why I was maybe a little bit emotional, is, and every esthetician listening to this, anybody really knows that most of the time we're seeing clients that are either our regular clients or just like, regular clients. But then you have that one every once in a while that is just different and makes you stop and like really assess. So originally my last facial of the year was going to be somebody I knew. She was a regular. I've known her for years, 5 years, but she canceled. And so I had that spot open, and late at night, the day before, it filled with somebody I've never met before. And I saw that there was a note on the appointment, and I asked if I could share this, and they were happy to let me share. But the note, the morning of the last day of the year, and I knew I was going in, this is the note on the appointment. It said, "Hi, Lauren. I have seen you once way back at the beginning of your career when you were at the Loft Spa," which is a spa that I worked at. It was my first place, fresh out of school, and loved it. I am now booking this facial for my older sister. I just moved her here from Michigan. She has extremely special needs, and my mother, her main caregiver for her entire life, just passed away unexpectedly in April. My dad also has stage 4 cancer, and it was time for her to come here and let her little sister take over. My mom said that she started getting her monthly facials last year, which is odd because she doesn't do well with strangers. She also doesn't have a lot of communication skills, but for some reason loved facials. I wanted to start that back up for her again here in Bozeman. So I asked around, and a lot of people said that your space was extremely calm, and I think that with her triggers, you might be a great fit. See you tomorrow. So I wake up And I see that, and I have 3 clients before her. And so I also don't, like, I just kind of had this, that's a big, heavy, I was like, what am I to expect? Anyways, they came up. She, you know, didn't speak to me a lot, but was calm. And her sister was very kind and had asked my client, she said normally she wants me to stay in the room. She's not normally comfortable to stay. My mom would stay with her the whole time. And I said, great. I pulled up a chair. And about 10 minutes in, her sister, my client, said to her, go shopping, go. Like, I'm fine. Go. And she was a little shocked and she goes, okay, like if you want to be here alone, just ask Miss Lauren if you need anything and I'll be back in an hour. And so then I was like, okay, now I'm going to be alone and she needs her full-time caregiver. It kind of made me a little nervous, but it was actually one of the most peaceful facials I've ever given in my life. She just laid there. She had her eyes open the whole time, which normally would bother me with any other client, but for her, it didn't bother me with her. She was interested in what I was doing, didn't say a word the whole time.
Made her feel safe to see
And
what was going on.
Yeah, and she was just so calm the whole treatment. And I put an enzyme on her. I was kind of worried. I told her, I said, this is going to feel tingly. She didn't say anything. She just nodded. And then at the end of the facial, I helped her get up. She was in a spa wrap robe, and I just let her stay covered in a blanket until her sister came back to help her. But at the end, when they were leaving, she asked if she could book her next one. And so her sister said, of course we can. And so then we actually ended up booking her a monthly facial for the next 6 months. And then her sister emailed me the next week and said that, her sister had said it was peaceful and made her happy. So I think just like, it was one of those moments that I was like, I love this. I love doing this. And it totally threw me off for my last facial of the year. Totally threw me off. And especially when you're not trained, and like I wasn't a flight attendant. So if anything were to happen, I don't know that I'd be super prepared. And it definitely made me just feel special and really grateful for what I can offer and the space that I've curated. And so then right after that, I did my reflection and I sobbed for an hour.
You're reminding me, I had a client in LA who was very, I don't know, like special needs, autistic. His mom never told me what he was, but he's not able to care for himself. And I used to have to call him King Cherub Charles. And he was one of my favorite clients, like the stories that he would tell me. And then I also think it's really, there's something beautiful where you're giving the caregiver a break.
Yeah.
As well, because that's a lot of responsibility. So it's a whole niched out market. Maybe we should pay more attention to as estheticians, because here's the thing, you guys, we really are healers.
Mm-hmm.
We love taking care of people. It's just something really special. And I love that. I do feel like the last facial of the year always teaches us something. What would you say your takeaway from it was? Like, what, if you had to give it a title of what it taught you?
My takeaway from it was something I think you'll appreciate. And I wrote down that my takeaway from that facial specifically was broaden your BCE horizon. So it just made me think about all the people that, right, like I'm not thinking of offering my services to, and how I could maybe, adjust, just like make small adjustments to be more inclusive in that realm. Because it really, I couldn't stop thinking about it all night long, that, she's, her, it's particularly, she, doesn't speak, she's pretty mute, and, needs a full-time 24/7 caretaker with her. And then like just facials. or something she enjoys, when apparently like she can't even walk through the grocery store is what her sister was saying without having an episode. So it made me think like really about broadening my horizons when it comes to my BCE, my best client ever, and because I'm going to see her every month for the next 6 months.
Well,
And
chances
it's
are
going to be
that
awesome.
sister is going to start referring you more people too. When you take care of somebody's family, no matter what the situation is, you do get more referrals. I think it's
Yeah,
just building the trust. So I love that takeaway for you. What a powerful one.
I know. It was like a big one for me. It was also just like, of course, the last one of the year, and then I did my reflection period, but it was really beautiful in a way.
That is, it's funny. I had to reversing a little bit to my last facial of the year. Learning
Mhm.
patience. And it was not this lady's fault at
Yeah.
all. And I didn't want to make her feel bad. And then I looked, she must have felt bad. She didn't say anything. There's something about an 80-year-old woman that carries grace and I don't know, just a sweetness, but she left me the best review on Google 2 days
Oh,
later. And I know she's not tech savvy, so I thought that was very sweet.
oh, she went out of her way to get
Yes,
that
that was
done.
kind of like her, "I'm sorry," but I didn't want her to feel bad. I mean,
Yeah.
we all have moments where we wanna strangle our significant other, and I'm sure he heard it.
I hope
Which
that pie was good.
yeah, I know. I mean, he could have gone to Jensen's, this fancy grocery store that's across the street from my spa, but nope, Costco. So, I think from a 25-year esthetician, and you'll probably agree with me, from your 5 years of experience as an esthetician, what I really want other people to know listening to this is you're not alone. You're not behind. You're not doing anything wrong. Hopefully, you'll take some time and reflect on what 2025 brought to you and know that you're just in a season wherever you're at that's teaching you something, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. And if you're listening and you're craving clarity, support in a business that actually supports your life, I think you've heard Lauren and I share how we are both building that from very, very different places in life. So we invite you to take a look at the Beauty Biz Club. There is the Emerging Esthetician, which Lauren, you always say it so perfectly. Who is that designed for?
The emerging esthetician is designed for anybody who is starting their aesthetics career or somebody who is just launching or reviving their career. It's for anybody who needs to start fresh or needs the support that everybody needs when diving into something new.
Perfect. So now this is something fairly new that we just introduced at the very end of 2025, the emerging esthetician segment. We also have the essentials and by application expansion, which is the top income earning mastermind type group inside of the Beauty Biz Club by application and interview process. But whatever it is you're looking for, we hope you'll check out the Beauty Biz Club where we help estheticians become booked, balanced, and abundant. So anything else you want to share before we wrap up our end of year reflection podcast?
No, other than I think 2026 is going to be a good one. Year of the horse.
Year of the Horse, that's not supposed to start till February 17th, which is around when this should be dropped. So get ready. What are you doing
Yes.
the rest of the day? Are you with clients today?
I am not, and I did it on purpose because I had two clients originally booked this afternoon. One canceled, and then the other one had texted me asking if she could come in a different time today, and we actually just moved her to tomorrow. And it feels perfect because I got to get some stuff done, and I'm also going to be able to tune into your training today, this afternoon, that is going to be so powerful. I already know it. And I'm going to pre-record my training for emerging esthetician that's dropping next Monday.
Fresh goals. So even if you're listening to this in February, all of the teachings sit in a training library. You can go back and revisit them. You're teaching something that's fun, your fresh goal setting system, and you seem excited to be sharing this.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be sharing this. I have a lot of goals that I'm going to share of mine. and how I'm gonna get there. So it's gonna be fun.
I think on our next podcast, so I was supposed to go to Vegas for New Year's Eve, and this is something we never do, but we were laying in bed, our suitcases, this was like on the 30th of December, our suitcases were by the front door and ready to go. Our flight left at 5 a.m. the next morning, and we just decided not to go. We canceled our flight, we canceled our hotel room. So I have not been in my home for like 10 days without anything crazy planned in years. But what I did is I probably bought 50 new beauty products. So I think we need to do some beauty product reviews on the
Yes.
show. Did you get stuff for Christmas or
Yes.
have you purchased anything?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my father was just in Italy for 3 weeks, and his Christmas gift to me, he handed me this big bag full of stuff, and I was very confused by it. But then I looked in it when I got home, and he, in all these different places in Italy and Sicily, the Amalfi Coast, all the places he went and just grabbed some, and I'm sure his new wife was obviously helping with this as well, but a random makeup or perfume or a sheet mask or something. So I have this big bag with all this random Italian makeup and
Oh, we have to go through it.
yeah. Well, I've already tried like the concealer that he got me, best one I've ever used in my entire life. Like I've already tried a couple of them, but yeah, it was like the most fun gift he's ever gotten me.
Esthetician inspired gift. I absolutely love that. And I want to also mention that you're going to be hosting some episodes of the show without me in the future. You're already recording the
Yes.
first one. So you guys stay tuned for that. Um, Another thing that I'll share is for the first time, I've been doing this show since 2015, but I've landed some pretty big deal collaborations and partnerships for the show in 2026. And for you guys listening in, I wouldn't ever bring anything to this space that I didn't truly authentically love and wasn't using myself as an esthetician. So I'm excited for the future of our podcast in 2026.
Me too. It's quickly becoming one of my most favorite things in the whole world. And I'm super excited to do solo casts and because I'm interviewing incredible women that inspire me. But I think it's just going to be a great year for the show in general with, everything that you're curating.
I listened to your interview with a female plastic surgeon. It's not on air yet for you guys listening into this episode, but I listened to it this morning on my walk. And my sister's a psychiatrist, and I sent her an idea that I got from your podcast. She's starting a new business here in the desert, and immediately she's like, "Oh my God, this is incredible!" So the show was good. It was a really good episode. I think our
Yeah,
listeners are going to love it, and I'm glad you enjoyed doing it. You're good. You're good at it. So
I'll get better too. It's going to get better.
it's interesting. It's like anything else. It's like connecting with a client. Sometimes you can get on an episode of the show and you feel like this person's been your best friend for 600 years and it flows. And other
Hmm.
times you feel like you are banging your head against the wall, trying to get them to share something that an esthetician might enjoy.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's not as easy. I think this is another thing you're learning. People may think that, oh, Lori's life's amazing. She is an esthetician. She has the Beauty Biz Club. She has this. She has the podcast. It's hard work, right?
Yeah. I'm like, you want to know what's so funny? And I just have to say this. Lori was sending me voice memos last night as I was crawling into bed. It was like 9 p.m. here. And my partner, Sonny, goes, does she ever stop working? And I was like, no, Sonny, do you know anything about this woman? No. I said, he's messaging me until I go to bed, and she'll be the first person I talk to at 4 a.m. in the morning. And he was like, geez, she goes, those two, Lori and Jake, geez. And I was like, yeah, Sonny, yeah.
Oh, you know what though? I feel like I'm learning to relax a little bit. If I get a thought, I have to share it. But honestly, I slept until 3 o'clock in the afternoon on New Year's
I was
Day.
so proud of you for that.
I got up and from 4:30 to 10, and then I go, I'm just going to watch a Dateline.
Yeah, yeah.
And I woke up at 4 PM. Jay said he came to the bedroom door like 5 times and put his ear up against it. He's like, is she still alive? This is so weird.
I'm so proud of you for doing that.
I think because my brain's so busy, I probably am annoying. If I don't say something right away, I'll forget it. And even if I like send it in a text or an email, you'll come back to me and go, what do you mean by this? And I'll forget what I even wanted to tell you. Get it off my brain immediately. But there are a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
And
I appreciate it.
that's something that just, I think, sucked the life out of me in 2025 and made me just focus on my to-do list. So this year, it's not about doing everything. It's just about doing what matters. And I'm back. I am back. Watch out. I'm going to start teaching here. Start seeing a lot of me out there. Starts today.
You're coming into this year with some force, I tell you.
Yeah.
I'm going to piggyback of it. And you know what else I'm going to do today quickly is it's January 5th in Montana, and there is not a flake of snow on the ground or in the mountains. And so I'm going to go like rake leaves or something in January. It feels very odd.
Oh my goodness. Well, enjoy it, because
I will.
Next week, Montana weather, you're going to be snowbound.
Yeah, it's going to be awful. I know it's coming, so I'm going to go enjoy it. Thanks for having me, and thank you, everyone.
Right. Happy New Year.
New Year.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Beauty Biz Show. I hope the episode has left you feeling inspired to build the beauty biz of your dreams. As always, we appreciate your kind reviews as it helps us attract amazing guests to be interviewed. Also, be sure to give me a follow on Instagram at Lori_BeautyBiz and SpaStar_Lux. If you'd like to know more about how we can work together, visit beautybizclub.com, where we are busy helping estheticians create outrageously abundant careers.